will be here. If that's the only choice you've got, okay. But if you have any other day to come, please come on another day if you can possibly choose it. And I myself, I have a checkup tomorrow at the hospital, so I'll be out through the morning.
Okay.
What do I need? I need this.
Okay, looks like we're done.
This paper was printed on the key block yesterday in the registration marks. Click, click. It was printed in the registration marks. So that's the registration is the edge of this sheet.
Got it.
So getting a new block ready, if I carve the registration marks, I can carve them anywhere I want. And it doesn't matter as long as the paper then goes into them and gets glued down. That will be the definition of the registration marks. So sometimes what we do is we look at the piece of wood. If there's a defect there, we look at where we want to put this thing down. We don't want the defect to match something. So we might sometimes move it around. You might see some of our blocks. Why are the registration marks and
way over to the side?
It's because there was a defect up there that I didn't want to fall into an area.
Okay.
This one is a pretty good block. There's that one little knot up there. If I just use my standard location for this, it's okay. It falls into that, into that bamboo thing there, so there's no problem. So I can just go ahead with my generic location.
Great.
And that's what this thing is. It's nothing magical. It's a piece of plastic from a candy package, I think. It just gives me consistency.
Right. As long as you use the same one every time, then.
But it's not. This is not defining where the registration marks are. Some people are confused about that. That's Dave's registration key. It's not. These marks could go anywhere on this piece of wood. The definition happens at the moment you glue the paper into them.
Interesting. Deathjaw follows up. He says, I had no idea that about different printing schools and white pigments, so thanks for talking about that. And he was wondering, because in Chinese watercolors it's typical to paint the backside of paper to make it whiter, whereas in Western watercolors typically white is frowned upon. So that's interesting.
I don't know about watercolor painting, but Chinese paper is so thin. I'm sure you could do that, get away with things. I'm going to make noise. Headphones, or I'm going to make one tap. So if you got headphones on, be careful, please. 3, 2, 1. It's a bit too far, I think. I'll pull it back in a bit.
No persuader this time around.
But I did once.
Yeah. I'm unfamiliar with this term. Do you know what this is? It's Racorian is raiding with a party of 19.
I've no idea. That's a
Hosting
fiction.
for up to 7 viewers.
I haven't any idea what that means. It happened some months ago, and it was real trouble because all kinds of people who didn't know what we were doing came in and made all kinds of stupid comments. But
No.
I have no idea. I don't know.
Okay.
Ask the stream there. Will
Yeah. You want to help us out? We're unfamiliar with this, but it looks nobody's making trouble yet. So.
When we paste down if you saw me paste down the key block, you saw me use wood glue for doing that, because we need a stronger glue where there's really fine lines. Because when you're cutting both sides of a fine line, if the glue's not so strong, it pops off. But for color blocks, where the areas are going to be flat and wide, we can use a weaker, lighter mucilage glue. But either way, got to make it wet first. Moisten the wood. Otherwise, the glue just sinks right in and
Yeah.
doesn't act well. So.
Cool. Oh, okay, neat. Interesting. Sounds like someone else finishes their stream, but they still have quite a few chatters, so they send them over to us to go see what we're up to.
Well, I thought that was, isn't it hosting or something?
Yeah,
Or
it
did
looks
not
like you did both. I'm not sure what the difference is, but thanks for joining us. Cool. One of the visitors says the raid is showing that we're really happy to be here, and they're bringing the hype train, so bringing people over. So thanks a lot. Dead Steve says, could you give a brief summary of what we are doing for the new additions? Do you mean the new additions on the first floor, the renovations, or what do you mean?
No, the new members of the stream don't know what we're doing.
Oh
making
yeah,
wood block
probably.
prints,
Oh
or-
yeah, let them know what we're doing. Making Japanese woodblock prints.
In 25 words or less, how do you do that?
Yeah.
We're making woodblock prints, pictures made of wood, stuff like this. You've probably seen this. This is a very famous Japanese woodblock print. The one we're making today is much simpler than this, but it's the same concept. To make these pictures, which are on paper, we need to get pieces of wood like this. We carve shapes on them. This is a partly constructed print. And
Some
then
says you just whip out a great wave.
whatever.
It's right next to
Right.
it.
Look, it's paying my rent, buddy.
Sorry.
Whatever. So the point being, once we've carved shapes on pieces of wood, am I in the video here? I can't see.
Looking good.
There's a piece of wood now with various shapes carved in it. And to make a single print, we get a set of these blocks with different shapes carved on each one. This is my carving desk, so I can't print to show you at the moment, but what we're doing today is preparing blocks. When they're finished, we then take them to our printing bench, and we rub pigment on them, and we press paper onto them, making pictures. It's Japanese woodblock printmaking, and as I said, that was the most famous example you've probably seen, here and there around the world. Mm-hmm. And they're pieces of paper pressed with pigment, and it all comes out through patterns carved on pieces of wood. Is that the 25 words or
that
less
sounds
version
great.
of what we're doing?
Yeah.
The process we're doing today, you can see I've got what looks like the same picture with different things marked on it, and this is what we're doing today is the process of preparing color blocks. This will be the color block that will print blue in the final print. This represents a color block that might print brown, some wood colors in the finished print. This is a block that will be used to print gray. So we're doing the color separation work today, one by one by one, to do the breakdown of how this print will come together. And unfortunately, it's not something that happens all in one day while you're watching or in a few minutes. To make a woodblock print is actually weeks of work, planning and drawing and cutting one block and cutting more blocks and then doing printing. So today, I can't show you the finished print. This is just one small little glance at how the process works.
So you carve the different layers by hand, then carefully stamp them on paper and pray it works out. Wow.
Well, we don't pray. We know what we're doing.
Yeah,
And the
it's
other
all
thing is,
planned out.
we don't stamp the blocks onto paper. What happens is once the blocks are carved, they're brushed with pigment and the paper gets stamped onto the blocks. So it works that way around. Paper gets rubbed onto wood blocks.
Yeah.
If you look back on our Twitch channel, there's lots of other videos here that show the different stages in the process.
Yeah.
For anybody that's interested, and we have lots of videos on our YouTube channel also that show.
Yeah.
And if you're a gamer, you may actually already have seen our work.
Yes.
Cameron, you can...
Form of Ukiyo-e Heroes. The video game parody series, all done using traditional Japanese print, woodblock printmaking techniques, and designed by our designer in the U.S., Jed Henry, and he's made all these, or this parody series. You can get them one by one. There are different subscription series. You can have them.
Or just to see
per
them.
month.
If you
Yeah,
go
if you want to see them.
QAheroes.com, whatever
Right.
it is, you could pop the link in or something, just to show examples of what the finished stuff does look like. You know.
Oh, someone beat me to it. Thanks. May have run into these elsewhere already. They're made in the same workshop.
On this very bench.
Yes.
Some of them, not all of them.
Right.
We're getting a good peel here today. I've gone back to I've been trying different kinds of the Gampi paper, and we had settled on using a much thinner type because it was easy, but I ran out of that, and I've gone back to my stock, and I used one of the thicker ones. I don't know if you saw it, we were doing a thing where it was coming off in one piece, and
Right.
the stream was waiting, is Dave going to get a good peel this morning or not, so. And the one we got this morning it's one of those thicker pieces of Gampi, and it's coming off in one piece. It would have if I'd have thought about it at the beginning. So that's half the sheet of paper. The thing's split. Half of it's still on the block, and half of it came up. It's a sheet of paper like a piece of tissue, and we actually ended up just now splitting it in half. So.
Wow, that is. I almost said paper thin, but it's thinner than paper.
It's thinner than paper thin.
Than
What do you mean? For us, paper thin means nothing here in this workshop. So.
Yeah. Wow.
It's paper thin.
Yeah. Not an appropriate expression to hear.
Not that thick. I'm sorry. So,
No. One of the new ones asked, "How long have you been doing this?" And people have answered, "Over 30 years." Is that?
Actually, over 40 years I've been making prints.
40, yeah.
So 33 years now here in Japan. Doing this.
But before that, for several years.
It's the first one to be about 1979. I think we're trying to figure out the other day when I went to look at the website. The earliest print is 1979.
Wow.
So that's that is going on for 40 years. Isn't it?
Yeah.
So older than most of the guys on the stream have probably been alive. So. So we have time. I should carve a bit. Is that the idea? Is there
9:13.
Okay, good. I've got a few minutes to get started. Okay. Today, Kawai-san and Doi-san, we got another schedule.
Okay.
4 parties starting at 10 o'clock.
Wow. Kanta jumps in and says, "Ha! I'm 42." So he's been around.
Okay, good. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
It's nice to know there's somebody out there who's younger than my printmaking career, or whatever. So, and older than my printmaking career. So.
Someone suggests, "Oh, you could use the Gampi again." I don't know if it would survive another run.
We could, if I did it really carefully, you could actually probably do that again.
Wow.
Probably. I mean, how much is reasonable and how much is not reasonable? But, And again, for the new viewers who are watching, if there are anybody still here, if they haven't all run away by now, you can see what happens next. Is the purpose of that yellow-green pigment there was to show the areas that we're going to keep. So what I now need to do with this flat piece of wood is that's going to keep, that's going to stay, and this is going to go. Do I have an example of a color block that's finished? Yeah, maybe whatever, something like this. This is just an older color block. Got a piece of wood here. This has already been done years ago. It's an old antique block. This is the part that stays, and surrounding it was the area that is cut deeper. And then pigment was rubbed on to make a wood block print. So.
People are requesting a zoom in when you start carving. They just want to.
Oh, okay.
They want to see the bacteria.
Okay. So the bacteria, right. Let's get this sorted out. I'm going to put the light on then. Wait, where were we? Here. Trying to figure this out. Excuse me a minute. Get the camera set up. Oops.
Very nice.
Are we there?
Yep.
Somewhere around there?
Great.
I can't see the screen, so I don't know if we're focused or not. So, all right.
Looking sharp. this color block that he's carving is going to be part of this finished print. I had taken it down for a little while to
Okay,
make
so.
but this is what the
Well, with
final one may look something like this.
The shape is the same. The colors are wrong.
Yeah, the colors will be
It's a
different.
color mock-up, but the shape will be like this.
Yeah.
And it's two prints side by side. We're going to make them as one and cut them apart after they're finished.
Yeah.
And now I'm not cutting on the lines, I'm cutting in the middle of this line. I don't know if that needs explanation or not. The black lines you see here will also appear in the finished print. And the black lines serve to separate the color areas, but the color blocks will actually slide just a little bit under the black lines because the colors are all transparent.
Right.
The black will cover them up. We don't want any gaps, so there'll be no gaps in the color at all.
Mm-hmm. People ask, that focus is gorgeous. BEA beautiful. What camera is that? This is.
It's a generic Handycam. It's nothing.
Yeah.
It's nothing. It's cheap junk.
Yep.
It's
Sony Handycam HD.
Whatever. We end up replacing them every few months because they just break down.
HDR CX670. If that means anything to you.
Nothing special. If the thing is looking good, what it means is it's because we got good strong light. All these modern cameras need these little point and shoots and Handycams. If the light's not good, they're in real trouble.
Yeah.
But if you have good, strong, bright light
You can get a good image.
and get the focusing worked out, then they will come up with gorgeous images in under strong light. So that's why that might be looking good right now, because we are right there under a very strong light.
Yeah, yeah.
But don't think that this is some special expensive piece of gear. It's a generic Handycam, and actually it gives us real trouble sometimes on the focus.
Yeah.
Because it's coming in here at an angle, and if you can always focus on something when it's at a flat angle to the camera. So, so don't take this as a recommendation to go and buy that camera, because I'm not all that happy with it.
Yeah. This is a question from me. Why do you cut those little corners out that you've done in a few spots instead of waiting until you do the
This
larger
comes up all
section?
the time. And later on,
okay.
chisels are coming in here, and I need access for the chisel. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
What can I say? I don't know.
Place to put it in.
Yeah, you need a place to stick the chisel in. I don't know. When we're coming up.